This month's Digital VA is brought to you by Pure Storage.
The Department of Veterans Affairs has around 140,000 employees working from home. Their IT office's digital transformation strategy has helped the agency respond to the pandemic and keep its employees online. Susan Perez is Chief of Staff for the Department of Veterans Affairs Office of Information Technology. Susan, welcome back. What lessons have you learned over the 6 months or so that the VA and everyone has been responding to the coronavirus?
We had an amazing amount, and thank you, Francis, for having me on today. We learned an amazing amount, and the digital transformation strategy that we had in place really helped us propel ourselves in responding to this pandemic. We had several things in motion, including migration of our computing into the cloud, migrating applications into the cloud. These things all played a big key role while we got ourselves structured and postured, really, to respond to this pandemic. It was just one of the lessons. I mean, there are several others that I could get into. And I'm happy to do that if you'd like me to continue.
Yeah. I mean, every agency across government is dealing with the same issues, and yet the people that I talk to on an ongoing basis are hungering to know what their colleagues across government are doing in order to think about not just what you're up against today, but how you're planning for the next 6 months or the next year or the next 2 years, Susan.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, again, our digital strategy, I think, helped posture ourselves into responding. But really, the key is doing some of the basic things that you do as a leader. We were in communication not only with our customer, but communication with our staff. For the customer base, being at their hip, knowing exactly where their pain points were, where we needed to be at a point in time to give the right infrastructure, to give the right equipment, where they needed to have activations done, just being shoulder to shoulder with them as they were planning that out, responding to their ever-changing plans. We literally came in on a Friday, came in on the Monday, and the investment strategy from VHA at that point went from over $2 billion into $16 billion in requirements. We had 24 hours to assess that. That's rapid. And we had to look internally, what did we have, what did we need? Test the infrastructure. That's one of the biggest pieces of advice I give to other agencies who want to know how to get ahead of it. That's how we were able, again, to make sure we were postured to be very, very responsive. We tested ourselves at an agency level to make sure that we could support all of our employees, both government and contractor-wise, to be in a remote posture, that if they needed to telework, that we absolutely had the bandwidth to support them. We also had to make sure that we could support the additional telehealth engagements. You know, and I'm very, very proud of this agency. We have done over 3 million telehealth visits from January to the end of August. That is unheard of. We had a record all-time high of over 35,000 telehealth visits. I think it was August 25th was the actual date. This is an extreme amount of that kind of engagement with our customer base, with our veteran base, to do in this telehealth way. I hope that this will help the medical community to continue on with this path. And think of alternate ways that we can continue to heal this country, right? And heal them at a massive amount.
Susan, do you have a sense yet whether the virus and the virus response has changed or will change your digital transformation strategy, or is it just accelerating some of the things that you've described there, causing you to go faster on some things that you already intended to do?
For VA, I would say it's definitely influenced us in going faster. We did have a lot of these things planned out, but you know, you can plan it out from a 3 to 5 year cycle, and then all of a sudden you have the moment, I can't wait 3 to 5 years, right? I gotta have it now in 3 to 5 days, 3 to 5 weeks. And when you're looking at responding in that kind of a manner, you need to keep in mind having good relationships with your vendor community, right? We were also challenged as a nation with all kinds of issues of whether we could get the equipment, where were these allocations going. So having good relationships is really a key. Those should be worked continuously. Having talented leaders all around us, I can't say enough kind words about our CIO, our principal deputy, two of our leaders inside IT, and this pandemic hit, and we knew exactly how leadership was kind of falling into place. CIO went and he pulled together a COVID response team, and our PDAS, he knew his head had to be looking at everything else we had to do operationally, right? Work doesn't stop. So, so having that kind of leadership around you and knowing that you can count on that team is really key. I think a couple of other items that I don't want to forget to say, communicating with the staff was a big key, making sure that they weren't sitting there and kind of agonizing of what happens next and where's my job and do I go into the office and do you care about me? Saying those things, I know it sounds, sort of easy, but it's not. You have to make the effort. You have to communicate with them. And the value of governance. We had a very strong governance model already inside IT, and this really accelerated another level of governance because we were blessed with getting some COVID supplemental dollars, which we needed, and we applied. And then we have to be very diligent on how that funding is getting spent. And so having the right governance structure, the right oversight, that we're applying funds in the manner in which they were issued to us, it means we're putting the right resources on the right things.
Susan, thanks very much for joining me. Congratulations on the progress you're making.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.